Have you ever wanted to speak English fluently, but every time you try, your tongue freezes, your brain goes blank, and your heart starts beating faster than ever? You look around and see others speaking so confidently, and you wonder, why can't I do that? You might think you need native friends, expensive classes, or years of practice. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone else to become fluent. You can train yourself, alone. The journey won't be easy, but it will be powerful. Because the moment you decide to take control of your learning, you become unstoppable. Let's begin your transformation today. The day you stop waiting for someone to practice with and start becoming your own English-speaking partner. Part 1. The mindset of a fluent speaker. Fluency doesn't begin with your mouth. It begins deep inside your mind, with the thoughts you choose and the beliefs you hold about yourself. Most students think that one day they'll wake up feeling ready to speak English. That magical day when the fear will disappear, the words will flow easily, and confidence will suddenly appear. But the truth is, no one ever feels completely ready. Confidence is not a gift that falls from the sky. It's something you build through action, not before it. You don't wait for confidence to start speaking. You start speaking to gain confidence. That shift in mindset is where your real fluency journey begins. When you decide to speak alone, you are not simply practicing words or pronunciation. You are training your courage. You are teaching your mind to think differently, to think in English, to express in English, and to stop depending on translation. Speaking alone may feel awkward at first. You might even laugh at yourself. But remember, every time you speak, even when no one is around, you are building an invisible strength. Self-belief. You are proving to yourself that you can do it without anyone's permission, without anyone's approval. That is true independence as a learner. Your voice might shake in the beginning, your grammar might stumble, but your spirit must stay strong. Every small attempt is progress. Every time you open your mouth, even for a few seconds, you are defeating fear a little more. So before you start learning techniques or vocabulary, make a promise to yourself. I will not wait for the perfect moment. I will start now. Because the perfect moment doesn't exist. Only this one does. The students who speak fluently today are not the ones who were always confident. They are the ones who decided to start before they were ready. And that decision changed everything. Part 2. Create your English environment. One of the biggest myths about learning English is that you must live in an English-speaking country to become fluent. That's not true at all. You can live anywhere in the world, in a small town, a village, or a busy city, and still create your own English world. The secret is to surround yourself with English until it becomes part of your daily life. Start by changing the language of your phone, laptop, and social media to English. Every notification, every menu, and every small word you see will train your brain without you even realizing it. Listen to English podcasts or audiobooks while walking, exercising, or even doing chores. Watch English YouTube videos, but not just for entertainment. Focus on how people speak, the expressions they use, and the emotions in their voice. Create an environment where English is everywhere. Label things around your room: mirror, door, window, bottle, light. Every time you touch them, say their names aloud. You can even talk to yourself in English while doing daily tasks. Now I'm making coffee. This book looks interesting. The weather feels great today. Your environment is your silent teacher. Even if everyone around you speaks your native language, your brain can still live in English. The mind doesn't care where you physically are. It only reacts to what you feed it. If you keep hearing, reading, and thinking in English, your brain will begin to adapt naturally. So remember this: you don't need to move to London, New York, or Sydney. You just need to move your mindset into an English world. Once you start living in English mentally, fluency will begin to feel less like studying and more like living. You'll reach a point where English is not just something you learn, it's something you experience every day. Part 3. Talk to yourself. The secret practice. Now comes the most powerful and underrated practice: talking to yourself. Many learners feel strange about it, but it's the single most effective way to improve your speaking fluency, especially when you have no one to practice with. When you speak to yourself, there is no judgment, no pressure, and no fear of mistakes. You can talk freely, make errors, and correct them in your own way. Stand in front of a mirror, look into your eyes, and start a conversation. Talk about your day. Today I woke up early. I'm feeling great. I'm going to study for 2 hours. Talk about your goals, your plans, or your dreams. Pretend you're giving a speech about your future self. When you do this, you are not only speaking words, you're training your tongue, lips, and vocal muscles. Speaking is a physical skill. Just like a musician practices daily to move their fingers smoothly, you must train your mouth to move comfortably with English sounds. The more you speak, the faster your tongue learns to move in rhythm with the language. This makes you sound more natural and confident. Recording yourself is another powerful tool. Choose a topic. My favorite hobby. Why learning English is important. Or, what motivates me. And speak for 1 minute. Then listen carefully to your recording. Notice your pronunciation, tone, and pace. Don't criticize yourself. Observe your growth. Identify small areas to improve next time. This self-feedback loop is what turns practice into progress. Remember, no one ever became fluent by only listening or reading. Fluency comes from speaking, even if your only audience is yourself. The more you speak alone, the more natural English becomes. Someday, when you talk to someone in real life, you'll realize that all those hours of talking to yourself were never silly. They were the secret that built your confidence. Part 4. Think in English, not in translation. Thinking in English is one of the biggest breakthroughs for any learner. Most students struggle to speak because they translate every sentence from their native language first. That translation creates a delay. Your mind gets stuck between 2 languages. The secret is to break that habit and start thinking directly in English. You don't need to think in perfect grammar or long sentences at first. Start small. When you wake up, think, I'm tired, or I need breakfast. When you see the sky, think, it's beautiful. When you finish your work, think, I did well today. These simple English thoughts are like tiny seeds that will grow into fluent speech. Another great way to train your mind is by describing what you're doing throughout the day. This is called narration. For example, say in your head, I'm washing the dishes. The water feels warm. I like this soap's smell. Or, when you're walking somewhere, think, I'm walking fast because I'm late. I can hear the traffic. The air feels fresh. When you describe your daily life in English, you're creating a mini English world inside your brain. At first, you might forget or mix languages, and that's fine. With time, your brain will adjust. English will start to feel more natural, and translation will slowly disappear. You can also play mental games, like imagining how you'd explain something in English if a tourist asked you. Try to think of the English words quickly, without using your native language. When you start thinking in English, you'll notice something magical. Words and sentences come naturally without effort. That's real fluency, when your brain stops translating and starts communicating directly. And the best part is, you can train this skill completely on your own. All it takes is daily awareness and practice. Part 5. Build your speaking routine. Fluency doesn't appear overnight. It's built through small, consistent habits. You can't practice one day and then skip the next 3. Like exercise, the results come from daily repetition. The good news is that you don't need to spend hours each day. Even 30 minutes of focused practice can transform your speaking skills if you stay consistent. Here's a simple daily routine you can follow. Morning, 10 minutes. Start your day by reading something aloud. Maybe a news article, a short story, or even your English textbook. Don't read silently. Speak the words clearly. Focus on your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Reading aloud trains your mouth to produce sounds smoothly and teaches you how English sentences flow. Afternoon, 10 minutes. Watch a short English video or podcast. It could be about motivation, news, or a topic you enjoy. Listen carefully and then try to repeat what you hear, imitating the speaker's tone and rhythm. This method is called shadowing. It helps your mouth follow the natural speed and emotion of real English speakers. It's one of the fastest ways to improve pronunciation and confidence. Evening, 10 minutes. Before bed, talk about your day in English. Describe what you did, what you learned, and how you felt. You can talk to yourself in the mirror or record your voice. Reflecting in English builds your ability to express thoughts clearly and naturally. It's just 30 minutes a day, but if you follow it for 30 days straight, your confidence will grow faster than you imagine. Remember, fluency doesn't depend on the number of hours you study. It depends on the consistency of your practice. Small daily steps create big results over time. So make English practice part of your lifestyle, not just your study schedule. Because every day you speak, you're not just learning a language, you're becoming a more confident version of yourself. Part 6. Learn by listening actively. Listening and speaking are like twins. They grow together and support each other. If you want to speak fluently, you must first learn how to listen properly. But here's the truth. Most learners listen passively. They play English videos or songs in the background while doing other things, thinking it will help them absorb the language naturally. Unfortunately, that's not enough. To truly improve, you must listen actively. Active listening means paying attention to every sound, word, and emotion that a speaker uses. It means watching English videos not as entertainment, but as a learning opportunity. When you hear something interesting, pause and repeat it. Focus on pronunciation, intonation, and emotion. Try to copy not only what the speaker says, but how they say it. Take your favorite English YouTuber, podcaster, or movie actor, someone whose voice inspires you, and mimic their speech. Yes, literally imitate them. Don't be afraid to sound silly. That's how children learn their first language, by copying adults until the sounds become natural. You can do the same. The more you imitate, the more your mouth learns the rhythm of natural English. If a speaker says, "You know what I mean?" pause the video and say it aloud. Feel the emotion behind the phrase. This helps your brain and tongue connect sound to meaning. Active listening also means writing things down. Whenever you hear a new expression or useful phrase, note it in a small notebook or your phone. Then, during your speaking practice, try to use that same phrase in your sentences. This builds real fluency because your brain starts recalling useful expressions automatically. Remember, passive listening gives you exposure, but active listening gives you transformation. So, from now on, don't just listen to English. Study it, imitate it, and make it part of your voice. Part 7. Learn useful phrases, not complicated grammar. Many students make the mistake of focusing too much on grammar rules. They spend hours trying to remember tenses, conditions, and structures, but when it's time to speak, their minds freeze. That happens because grammar lives in your memory, not in your speech. Fluent speakers don't think of grammar while talking. They use phrases they've already heard thousands of times. That's why your goal should not be to memorize grammar rules, but to collect and use useful phrases that native speakers use daily. For example, instead of worrying about how to form the present perfect tense, just learn phrases like, "I've been thinking about it," "I've already finished," or "I've just started." These are ready-made patterns your brain can use instantly. Learn conversational expressions like, "That makes sense," "I totally agree," "You're right about that," or "I see what you mean." These are the real tools of communication, the natural language of fluency. When you focus on phrases, you train your brain to recall full expressions rather than build them word by word. This saves time, builds confidence, and makes your speech sound natural. You'll no longer stop in the middle of a sentence to think about grammar. Your words will flow easily because you've practiced them in context. To collect phrases effectively, listen to English speakers, movies, and podcasts. Write down the expressions they use and repeat them in your own practice sessions. Create small dialogues or short stories using those phrases. Over time, your vocabulary will turn into living, speaking English. Grammar still matters, but it should guide you quietly in the background, not control your voice. The more phrases you master, the more fluent and confident you will become, naturally and effortlessly. Part 8. Record, review, and reflect. Your phone isn't just a communication tool, it's one of the best English teachers you can have. Recording your own voice is one of the most effective yet underused methods to improve speaking fluency. Why? Because when you record yourself, you can finally hear how you sound. You can observe your pronunciation, tone, speed, and clarity. More importantly, you can notice your growth over time, something that's hard to see day by day. Start small. Choose a topic. Maybe my daily routine, a movie I love, or why I want to speak English fluently. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Don't worry about mistakes or accent. Just speak naturally. Save the recording and do this at least twice a week. After a month, listen to your first and your most recent recordings. You'll hear a big difference: clearer pronunciation, smoother flow, and fewer pauses. That's progress you can feel. But don't stop there. Reflect on your recordings. Ask yourself questions. Did I sound confident? Did I pause too much? Which words were difficult for me? Reflection helps you understand your weaknesses and plan your next goal. Keep a speaking journal, a simple notebook or digital note where you write down what topics you practiced, what mistakes you noticed, and what new words you want to use next time. Remember, progress in English doesn't happen in a straight line. Some days you'll sound great, other days you'll struggle. But every recording, every reflection, and every honest self-assessment brings you one step closer to fluency. Be patient, be consistent, and trust the process. You are your best coach. You just need to listen to your own voice. Part 9. Practice English in real-life situations. Fluency doesn't belong only in classrooms or practice sessions. It lives in real life. And even if you don't have foreign friends or an English-speaking community around you, you can still practice English in real situations. You just have to get creative. For instance, when you're cooking, describe what you're doing in English. I'm cutting vegetables. I'm boiling water. This smells delicious. When you're outside, think in English about what you see. The traffic is heavy today. The sky looks amazing. That shop is new. These simple thoughts train your brain to use English automatically. You can also turn ordinary activities into English moments. When you write reminders or notes, write them in English. When you're thinking about your goals, write your to-do list in English. Even when you're alone, you can practice real-life conversations. Pretend you're at a restaurant ordering food. Hi, I'd like a sandwich, please. Or imagine you're at the airport. Excuse me, where is the boarding gate for Flight 302? You can act out different roles: the customer, the receptionist, the traveler. This kind of role play is fun and powerful because it prepares your mind for real situations before they happen. You can also join online English learning groups or apps where people practice speaking together. Even if it's only chatting by text, it's still practice, and every small interaction counts. But remember, even if you don't have access to others, you already have the best partner, yourself. Every time you imagine a real-life conversation, you are training your speaking muscles. It might feel funny at first, but that's how all great learners start. Actors rehearse before going on stage. Athletes practice before the match. You're training for real communication, so practice boldly. The more you act out real-life situations in English, the more ready and confident you'll be when the real moment comes. Part 10. Remove fear of mistakes. This is the point where most English learners stop, right at the edge of progress. They stop not because they can't learn, but because they are afraid to be wrong. They think, I'll start speaking when I can speak perfectly. But that belief destroys growth before it even begins. The truth is, no one ever speaks perfectly from the start. You must first speak imperfectly to ever become perfect later. Mistakes are not your enemies. They are your greatest teachers. Every wrong word, every broken sentence, and every awkward pause carries a lesson. The only way to avoid mistakes is to say nothing at all. But silence will never make you fluent. Think of how children learn their first language. They make thousands of mistakes. They say goed instead of went, runned instead of ran, and yet they never stop talking. They don't care about grammar rules or perfect pronunciation. They just express themselves freely. And because they're not afraid, they learn quickly. That's the spirit you must adopt. You are not learning English to be perfect. You're learning to communicate, to express, and to grow. So, change your self-talk. Don't say, "My English is bad." Say, "My English is improving." Don't say, "I can't speak." Say, "I'm learning to speak." Every time you speak, even if it's broken, you're building fluency brick by brick. Every attempt counts. The more mistakes you make, the more confident you'll become, because each one brings you closer to the right expression. Be proud of your progress, no matter how small. Every word you say in English is proof that you're brave enough to grow. Remember, fluency doesn't belong to the perfect. It belongs to the persistent. Part 11. Motivation, your why matters. There will be days when you wake up full of energy and excitement to practice English. And there will be days when you feel tired, bored, or frustrated. That's normal. Every learner experiences it. What separates the ones who succeed from the ones who give up is a powerful reason. A why. Your why is the inner fuel that keeps you moving when your motivation fades. Maybe you dream of studying abroad, getting a better job, traveling confidently, or simply expressing your thoughts freely. Whatever your reason is, hold it close. Remind yourself of it often. When you feel like giving up, close your eyes and imagine your future self. The version of you who speaks English fluently, who interviews with confidence, who leads meetings or travels the world without fear. See that person clearly. That's not a fantasy. That's your future if you keep going. Every minute you spend practicing today is shaping that version of you. You're not just learning English, you're building your future identity. Someone strong, confident, and unstoppable. There will be challenges along the way. Pronunciation problems, forgotten words, confusing grammar. But remember this, motivation is not about feeling excited all the time. It's about continuing even when you're not. Your why will remind you that fluency is worth the effort. It will whisper to you on tough days, "Keep going. You're closer than you think." Never forget, fluency is not a dream floating far away. It's a daily decision. Every day you choose to practice, you bring that dream one step closer to reality. Part 12. Patience, the hidden key. In a world where everything feels fast, instant results, instant rewards, learning a language reminds us of something important. Real growth takes time. Fluency cannot be rushed. You can't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. Learning to speak English fluently, especially when you're practicing alone, demands patience. Deep, steady, calm patience. It's the hidden key that most learners forget. Think of your fluency journey like planting a tree. In the beginning, you see nothing. You water the soil daily. Your study sessions, your practice, your listening, but it seems like nothing is happening. You might think, "Why am I not improving?" But beneath the surface, roots are growing. You're building foundation, vocabulary, rhythm, confidence. Then, one day, a small green leaf appears, your first real, smooth conversation. That's your moment of joy. As you continue, the tree grows stronger. Your pronunciation improves, your speed increases, your hesitation fades. And finally, one day, your tree bears fruit. That's your fluency. But what happens if you stop watering it halfway? The tree dies. The same is true with learning English. If you stop practicing when it feels slow, you kill your progress. But if you continue, even when you can't see results, you'll suddenly realize how far you've come. The secret to fluency is consistency, not perfection. Give yourself time, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And watch the transformation. Be patient, because patience is not waiting. It's believing that your effort will pay off. And it will. Part 13. Combine passion with practice. The final and most joyful secret of learning English fluently alone is to combine your passion with your practice. The reason most learners lose interest is that they separate English from what they love. But learning becomes effortless when you connect it to your interests. If you love sports, listen to sports commentary in English. If you love movies, watch them with English subtitles and repeat your favorite dialogues. If you love music, learn the lyrics and sing along. When you mix your passion with English, practice doesn't feel like study. It feels like fun. For example, if you enjoy cooking, watch English recipe videos and describe the steps aloud while you cook. If you're into technology, follow English tech YouTubers and try explaining their reviews in your own words. If you love storytelling, record short English stories or daily experiences as mini podcasts for yourself. This way, English becomes part of your life, not just a subject you study. The magic happens when your emotions are involved. You'll look forward to learning because it connects to something you already enjoy. You won't need to force yourself. Your curiosity will pull you forward naturally. Remember, you don't need to study for 10 hours a day to become fluent. You just need to study smart and stay emotionally connected to your goal. Fluency is not only about language, it's about lifestyle. When English becomes a joyful part of your daily life, when it blends with your hobbies, dreams, and personality, you'll discover that you're not just learning English anymore. You're living it. And that's when fluency becomes your reality. Part 14. Be your own English coach. There comes a moment in every learner's journey when you must realize something powerful. You are not just a student. You are your own teacher. You are the one who decides when to practice, how to practice, and how much effort you will give. No one else can do that for you. Being your own English coach means taking full responsibility for your growth. It means observing your progress, identifying your weaknesses, and pushing yourself to improve, even when no one is watching. It's easy to wait for a teacher to tell you what to do, but the truth is, your greatest teacher lives inside you, your determination. When you feel lazy, remind yourself why you started learning English in the first place. Was it to study abroad, to get a better job, or to express your ideas confidently? Keep that vision alive. Motivation fades when your why becomes blurry. So, refresh it every day. Write it on a piece of paper and put it where you can see it. On your desk, your mirror, or your phone screen. When you make progress, even a small one, celebrate it. Say to yourself, "I did better than yesterday." That celebration builds momentum. If you wait for someone else to teach you everything, you will always depend on others. But when you take control, you become unstoppable. Being self-taught doesn't mean being alone. It means being in charge. It's the most honest and powerful form of education because it grows from your personal desire to become better. So treat your English learning as a personal mission, not a task. Set small goals like, "I will speak for 5 minutes today," or "I will learn 5 new phrases." Track your progress weekly. Adjust your methods when needed. Remember, no one can push you as effectively as you can push yourself. The moment you take that control, your journey changes from "I'm learning English" to "I'm mastering English." Part 15. The Transformation. Then comes the moment you've been waiting for. The quiet, magical transformation that proves your effort was never wasted. It doesn't happen suddenly. It happens slowly, silently, without warning. One day, you'll be speaking English, maybe with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger. And afterward, it will hit you. You'll realize you didn't translate in your head. You didn't hesitate. You didn't search for words. You just spoke. Naturally, smoothly, confidently. And in that moment, you'll understand what true fluency feels like. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about feeling free. You'll remember all those lonely nights when you practiced in front of the mirror, when you recorded your voice, corrected your mistakes, and felt unsure if you were improving. You'll think back to the times you almost gave up but didn't, and you'll smile, because you'll know every minute of effort mattered. Every small step built the foundation for that one big moment. You'll realize that fluency didn't come from a single lesson, a single teacher, or a single day of effort. It came from your persistence, your patience, and your courage to keep going, even when no one was clapping for you. You'll also discover something deeper, that English fluency isn't just about speaking a language, it's about transformation. You didn't just learn new words, you built a stronger version of yourself, disciplined, confident, and fearless. You didn't just gain fluency in English, you gained fluency in life. You became your own guide, your own coach, your own hero. And from that day onward, whenever you speak, you'll carry not just your words, but your journey. A journey that proves one truth. You don't need the perfect environment, the perfect teacher, or the perfect moment. You just need the courage to start, the patience to continue, and the faith to never stop. Final message. Your voice deserves to be heard. My brilliant students, listen carefully. Your voice matters. The world doesn't need another perfect speaker. It needs you, your thoughts, your emotions, your stories, your dreams. Never underestimate the power of your own voice. Every idea inside you, every dream you hold, has the potential to inspire someone else. But if you hide behind fear, if you wait for the right time or perfect grammar, your message may never reach the world. English is just a tool, but you are the artist. You are the creator. You give life to the words you speak. So don't be afraid to sound imperfect. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be afraid only of silence, because silence hides your light. Your journey to fluency is not about learning big words or fancy accents. It's about expressing who you truly are. Every time you speak, you are not just learning English. You are building courage. And that courage is what separates dreamers from achievers. Remember this always. The world doesn't want to hear a robot who speaks perfectly. It wants to hear a human who speaks with heart. When your voice carries honesty and passion, people will listen, no matter how many mistakes you make. At English Achieve Students Hub, we believe that every learner has a voice worth hearing, and that includes you. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Speak to yourself. Speak to your mirror. Speak to your dreams. Every word you speak, every sentence you try, is a step toward your future. One day, you'll look back and realize that fluency was never about being perfect. It was about being persistent. So, my dear students, remember this forever. You don't need anyone else to make you fluent. You already have everything you need: courage, consistency, and belief. Speak alone. Practice daily. and trust the process. Because your English-speaking future doesn't begin someday. It begins now, with the very next word you say.